Ladies and gentlemen, this episode of the League of Exceptionally Ordinary Gentlemen podcast is unofficially sponsored by Every Other Friday because Eli just can't get his shit together. And apparently that's when we're uploading. But more importantly, this episode is sponsored by, unofficially, a camera.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's neat. I'm not going to say what brand the camera is because there's no way we can afford that to pay them.
Oh yeah.
And they're not sponsoring us.
Mm-hmm. No, we get in trouble. We're like, eep.
Yeah.
Record us.
But we have evolved. We actually have a good setup now and a camera so we can actually have video.
Yeah, because
that's awesome.
I think the world of the Blue Yeti, but it's weird. You know, it's either like the best microphone for recording voiceovers or MIDI-core. Like there's no in between. You can ask Elle here. You can ask anybody I've got to come do voiceovers. It's like the exact same setting, exact same spot. Like,
yeah,
it's a true mystery. Some days it just decides it hates life.
Yeah, there's been a few car going by. I don't know if we picked that up. We might have. Anyway, I don't know. Slow down. Make good decisions. But yeah, it's kind of half and half. Some things we shoot with it or record with it is good. Other things not so much. But I will give it some credit where credit's due. We've had a lot of fun with it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I finally phased out with like the Rode shotgun mic just because it gets the job done and also it can attach to my camera.
Handy.
Still, my dream is to one day have a sound system that's good enough to where I don't have to redub like all the movie dialogue.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's actually what these mics were used for, was redubbing dialogue.
Mm-hmm. It's actually this one's famous. That's like the it was the one used for Her Marsha, and is actually in a short film about me produced by the Open Society about like opening the safe space in this very building. Which, actually, like whenever they open back up, they're still kind of closed, for the pandemic and stuff because New York actually has its ducks in a row and is taking this seriously. But actually, I asked, I'm not going to say her name, but one of the people who was here recording us, like, I asked her if we could have like if she could send me all that raw material, and she said like when she's back in the office, she'll get on to that.
Right on. How are they doing, by the way?
She seemed to be doing pretty good. Like when I just like I just randomly asked her, because I'm always someone I'm like, man, it'd be awesome to have all this cool, because I know they got some good shots. They really love being in the mountains, but it was like super. I will tell this story on them, and it just shows like different cities. Yeah, he already knows exactly. So they're so they were filming at Mars, which is where we film a lot of Her Marsha, all this cool stuff. And there actually has been bears there. There is a video. There's like a still frame. He was like just like laying in the sand, and like all of a sudden this bear just comes out on top of the mountain. It's probably like 30 feet away from us.
Yeah.
But anyhow, that was like a couple years later. I'm real glad they didn't have him beforehand. They probably wouldn't have went to Mars with us.
I don't think they would have reacted to that too, like as chill as we did.
Yeah, but anyhow, they're just like, okay, are there bears? And like, maybe, I mean, because I was being honest at the time, I hadn't seen a bear there, but it's Pine Mountain, they're like everywhere. But anyhow, so we got there and got some pretty good footage, and then it was either you or Whitney. One of y'all mentioned ticks, and they're like, ticks?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Whitney.
Okay, yeah. And they were just like, ticks. Like, ticks exist here in our care. They're like, can we go, please? 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 They're like immediately checking everywhere. Like, like the bear was like, okay, that's an acceptable risk. Ticks.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But they were really good people.
Oh,
Really
yeah,
awesome people
yeah.
to hang out with.
Yeah, I mean, I'll make it fair. Back them, I did end up getting stuck in an elevator like at Times Square for like 2 hours. So, they're afraid of ticks. I'm afraid of the Sheraton Hotel elevator. So we're even.
Fair. But speaking of kind of behind the scenes stuff that we do, I had mentioned the podcast to another friend of mine, and they, they had asked particularly about what all goes on behind the scenes of the movies that we make, and like how we go about making them. So I figured that would be a good topic of conversation today. So that's what this episode is about.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. I think we should also properly introduce ourselves again now that we have a camera.
Uh-huh.
We're your hosts. We're the League of Exceptionally Ordinary Gentlemen. Welcome to episode 3. I'm Eli Ackerman.
And my name is Oakley Fuga, a.k.a. the Slash Master.
And we are a couple of degenerate artists.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Oh, yeah.
Degenerate artists with a dream. So, artists.
Mm-hmm. I just still love making movies, and I would get them to show the camera, but we might do like a cut, like kind of like an after the episode, because I do got a bunch of some of my artwork here based on the films.
Mm-hmm.
Just they're scattered all over the building. You all get to see that I do artwork just based on like all the behind the scenes photos, and it's really wild. Like I was actually just telling Ellie right before the camera started rolling. We've talked about her martial art because it's such a huge experience, and so you'd think about this movie that I'm currently working on remastering. I edited the original. I should be very familiar with the behind the scenes photos, but I found like 20 new photos I had no idea existed. I do not remember taking these photos, and I was like, huh, cool.
Mystery.
Yeah. Because I was just like, looking at these, and I was like, it's like particularly like the scene where Ellie like punches someone out, and I was like, oh, these look like photos, and I'm like, wow, and you actually get to see him and Whitney like rehearsing the shot where he jumps down from the trees, and you're just like, wow, it's just like. Of course, like that. That's like my big thing. So I know movies, you gotta get things done, but I'm just like, I wish I'd done so much more behind the scenes photos. Like, I wish like instead of 20, there was like 200.
Who knows? In some upcoming movies, if you'd like to hang out with us, it'd be a good way to get involved with us and get some awesome behind the scenes stuff. So,
oh yeah, I like that. So like a lot of people just show up to hang out. Like actually, I don't know if I'm on that. I thought like Christian. He's actually in like Invisible Scars.
Oh yeah.
Like he just was there, and I was like, "Hey, you want to be in this movie?" And he's like, "Yeah, you think you can take this like picture of me doing this like skateboard trick?" And I'm like, "Sure." And so he did that, and now he's in the movie.
And he's way into the movie, just being in the right place at the right time.
It's funny because like everyone watches that, man, you must like have all this stuff like planned out, and it's like, you'd be surprised some of the best stuff just happens randomly.
Mm-hmm. And you've always got like at least 2 cameras on you at all times, so
oh yeah,
you're ready. But going back to the topic of this episode, planning. It's kind of weird because we sometimes plan and sometimes don't. Like sometimes ideas just kind of fall into our laps when we're just messing around. Like there was a time we was in the back room. We had just got done shooting. Well, we hadn't just got done shooting for that day, but just kind of chilling, not doing a whole lot. The sun was down. It was dark outside. Mm-hmm. We wanted to have some spook atmosphere. So we took speakers back there, and found some Slender ambience, like the soundtrack, which is just like the drums, and would go into the spooky music, the drone sound, and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just like skulking around, like trying to scare each other. We came up with an idea right there just by doing that.
Oh yeah, where I got the drives here, and you got all your stuff. If you don't mind waiting like 20 minutes for me to find it, I can give you all the raw material of that, because I actually watched that today.
I'm game. Absolutely game. We might even have that as an overlay.
Oh yeah.
In the podcast.
I think my favorite part is just like Whitney's like, I hate this.
I hate this so much.
But it's like a whole, like, it's especially, I mean, that place is, I mean, we like fill it up with fog, and we might even do like an episode back there just like fogged up with the disco lights.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not above it. That's the iconic, that's the room.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just like so much of it, just like people just like goofing around. I will say, by the time we usually do stuff, it ends up being completely different. Well, I mentioned her Marshall was like a completely different movie. I've got like a 13-minute, like kind of like a teaser that I would like send to people that I'm like, this is what the movie's about, and it's like completely different than the than the final cut of the movie. And I think only the scenes of you running on Pine Mountain is the only stuff from that made the final cut.
Mm-hmm. That's something to really take into consideration too whenever you're making a movie, is even though you might have spent like forever getting all this material and everything, don't get too attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and we learned that from learning how to make documentaries. Like, I'm more, in terms of film, I'm more of a documentary filmmaker personally than anything. Because I'm never content with anything that I write. Like, I'll rewrite it and rewrite it and rewrite it to the point where I'm sick of looking at it. And then, I never touch it again. But that really, like, shooting the documentary and all that really made us aware of how much you shoot, and then in the end, how much of it you're actually going to use.
Yeah.
Like, they gave it the ratio, what was it? Like, if you shoot 3 hours of footage, you might use 10 minutes of it.
Mm-hmm. And I will say this, because like I've been doing like a lot of remastering of my documentaries. Almost all the good material I loved did not make the final cut. You'll get this like really powerful quote. You want to keep it, but it just, like you just end up having to phase it out. Mm-hmm. And it's something like today, like, looking at stuff, and I'm like, why did I cut this? And it's like, oh yeah, well, I mean, it wasn't organic. There was no organic way to put it in. And I think the spirits are angry with me because we just heard a kind of weird noise.
That's another thing that happens too whenever we're shooting, is usually something weird happens.
Yeah.
In fact, was it the first? I don't know if it was the first thing that ever happened to us, like, together. But one of them did happen in this room.
Yeah.
What were we doing? We were just sitting here looking at footage or something. And just minding our own business, and then we hear like a music box start playing, and we look at each other like, we're the only ones here. This ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a little doll of a clown over here that was like a little wind-up toy, and then it had a little music box in it, and it was like moving its head and stuff, so that's another thing that happens behind the scenes. We should do a documentary over that one of these days.
Oh yeah. So Savannah still has it.
The clown?
Yeah.
Oh my.
I have this thing like where I don't know, my birthday's like a pretty weird day, but anyway, I was like, well, especially during the pandemic, want to spend by myself. But she made sure, and we spent like safely, all that. Took all the precautions, but she didn't want to spend my birthday on it. So I got to go see her. She's got like a really nice apartment, and she still has it. She actually has 2 of them.
Oh my God!
And I'm sure if we looked them up, like weird, like clown dolls.
Yeah.
But anyhow, yeah, no, that's.
Which we're not scared of clowns or anything like that.
Uh-huh.
We're really not even afraid of like anything really.
Uh-huh.
But it's like, oh man, that was kind of creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hang out a little bit longer, see if it does it again.
Yeah, I was somebody during like the whole murderous clown thing. Like I was like, man, I hope I run. I want to get my picture of one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, this is I guess kind of like filmmaking, but I met like my very first convention, which was Darkwoods. A really lovely place. And I got to meet the first actor who played, young Jason Friday the 13th. And I had the weirdest, I got his autograph, got his CD. He's like, this band First Jason, actually pretty good. I mean, I recommend it. Of the CDs I kept at my place, because I listen to it every now and then, which nowadays a lot of things don't even have CD players, But anyhow, I was like, man, I have a weird request, and he's like, what? I'm like, do you have a prop knife? And I'm like, oh no, could you stab me? And I've got a picture of him it's like this prop machete stabbing me like in the gut, and he was like, I'm pretty sure he's like, he's like, what?
I mean, Kane Hodder chokes people, so.
Oh yeah. It's a real grainy because I use this real crappy. I use this like old camcorder with just like still frame from the footage.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's actually a picture of me getting choked by Kane Hodder, and I'm like smiling, giving the thumbs up.
Turkey got a picture with him too. Turkey made an appearance in the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Or he was mentioned in the last episode.
But. Kane Hodder's a really good person, and actually, I just tell like a candid story because right before me, there was like this kid that had like cerebral palsy, and I totally butchered the name of that, but
cerebral palsy.
Yeah, and anyway, he took his picture, and he took his picture of Kane, and Kane did the, that choking's like his 100% pose, and he's like, what, little man, I'll give you a rare one. And and he let the kid choke him and got a picture of that, and so it's, but yeah, he was like really nice. I talked to him about his staying, spending like hours and hours under a pool, like his first day as Jason. I mean, really down to earth guy. Sorry for completely derailing it, but I mean,
no, you're fine.
Got to throw that in like Kane Hodder. Yeah. Awesome dude.
He is. He's a really awesome dude. I wish I could meet him. Eventually, I would love to, but. Mm-hmm. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But, yeah, in terms of planning a movie, there's a lot that goes into it. Like, first, coming up with, like, your story, but even in that of itself, is a ridiculous amount of work. Like, you gotta think of themes, characters, location.
Oh, yeah.
Something that makes sense. Because loopholes and plot holes suck.
And again, going with the best ideas, don't make the final cut of the film.
Yeah. The
original theme of her martial, which was actually called The Legion of the Bear. Yeah. I actually looked at watching all this old material. But it was basically about this crazy guy who went to university close by who shall not be named and learned of dark magic and was able to project his subconscious to this other plane, which was like purgatory, paradise, a world undisturbed by humans, nothing but desolate forests, animals are all peaceful. And, part of that's actually inspired by the Bible, the lions will lay with the lambs, But anyways, all of that was peaceful, And when he left university that should not be named, he formed he formed the Order of the Bear and began recruiting people that would tap into this other void. And by the time the main character at the time, Bill was like the lieutenant, and he was like the pure evil. Did we mention like the human stuff in one of the episodes? Because I don't want to repeat myself.
Yeah, we kind of mentioned it, but you can totally go back over it.
So his literally in the script, it's like Bill's sole defining characteristic is his complete lack of humanity. He was nothing but bloodthirsty, and the big thing was just that he was going to be this, malevolent presence built up all throughout the film. You never actually get to see what he does. You see the aftermath, all this anticipation. He was just like, and like the whole thing was, so this girl gets abducted and sent to the other realm because Bill has been sending people there and like feasting on their eternal souls, so he can live forever, because his whole philosophy was this world has it coming. That's all he cared about. And so anyways, when she gets to purgatory, it's a war zone now. Yeah.
Yeah, I was yawning.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just anyhow.
No, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night.
Oh yeah, I know the feeling. That's So he's like this demon purgatory, and so like when she gets sent there, instead of this paradise that's like in the Forbidden Bear textbooks, which I wish to God I actually I had time to make those before the part of the film changed. But anyhow, when she got there, it's a war zone. There's like the people loyal to Bill that wants to rebuild it in their world, where instead of everyone live in peace, they rule. And so it's like this big thing that no matter if you find the most beautiful paradise thing, the worst of humanity will destroy it if given the chance. And I think that's a pretty deep thing.
Oh, yeah.
And none of that is in the final cut of the film.
No.
Yeah. I'm sorry if I hyped anyone up there. Man, I want to see this. And it's like, nope. Okay, the spirits are really angry tonight.
Is it raining?
I don't see any.
I don't think so. Well.
Yeah, spirits did not like that one either.
Yeah,
man, tough crowd.
But yeah, whenever we first started shooting Hamartia, I was at the time living 20, 30 minutes away, still in the same county.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, some things happened, and we had to delay it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But that kind of gave us time to hone the story a little bit in a different direction. And yeah, Hamartia was a completely different film by the time the final cut was finished. And that will happen. That will happen quite a bit with anything that you do. And so yeah, that's one big piece of advice that I could give to people. Like, yeah, definitely plan as much as you can just to cover as many bases as possible, but at the same time don't get attached to anything, because it will change.
Yeah, and I mean, we got so many. We're also going to be trying to do like these like skits, like like one day one skit, because the problem with both of us being like really dedicated to making something is, if given the time, will take forever.
Yeah.
That's something with Invisible Scars. I'm like, gotta just get this done, get it done already. But yeah, so we're going to do like these one day skits, but like I don't know, get something like maybe in the future like to revisit. I love the idea of like somebody's morals being challenged by like this. I mean, it's like the classic thing, like what does a peaceful person do when they meet someone that you can't talk down? There's like no stopping. And in that case, it was just this soul destroying demon. And so it went from that to kind of more of a dark comedy. Bill had more of like an like antagonistic, like he in the second draft, there was still like a lot of supernatural elements and stuff. But he was just more, like it was like more of like a dark comedy. Like he was like sent to this world, and where he'd absorbed so many souls, he, like he had more than one life, and it just got to the point where he was just tired, because it's like, it's like what happens when you have that like fear of death completely taken away. So and then I wrote this scene kind of as a gag, kind of like the thing. Maybe put it in the final, like in the film, but it's going to be like him at a bar, and he's like completely wasted. And they're like, "You have someone to drive you home?" He's like, "I don't need to." And they're like, "What do you mean?" And he just like pulls out a gun, and just like shoots himself. And then like cut to him like waking up, and and he's like, "Where am I?" He's like, "They couldn't have put me in the morgue already." And it turns out it's like such a backwoods like bar that instead of like calling the cops, he just like threw him in a dumpster. And it's like it's just like him climbing out, and he's like, he's like,
these people suck.
Yeah. Just.
Winston is a bad place. Never go there.
Yeah.
And by the way, apologies to if there's anybody watching this in any place named Winston.
Yeah. No, Winston, Kentucky is just like this place. I think that's just like a generic bad town. That doesn't capture a lot. We do have our own established. We're working on like kind of like establishing a university. We do got an official wine brand.
Yeah, we do.
And what we got wine, the town Winston. If we get up there, like one of the actors in Invisible Scars accidentally names the real town of the city of Lexington. We're going to try to change that, but that's a maybe. Maybe Lexington exists in this world, but like Winston's just it's basically, and again, this is like coming, and this is like an idea. One of my favorite films I've made is something that I wish I had really made like what I set out to, and it was about, I think it was like Winston's first canonical appearance. Oh God, I mentioned like canning and all that stuff, but I was like actually, like it was like this town that was like, and it's based on like real life stories. Around here you get these mining towns that are famous for. This one's like famous for a sludge pond that come by and just destroyed the environment. That rain. There's like mining disasters. Bloody Harlan. You get all these like beautiful towns that has all this like unbelievable. Like you go there and I filmed in Harlan. I filmed in Harlan a lot. It's an hour. It's an hour drive from here. It's after about 5 or 6 times, they can get a bit tiring, but. Everyone there was like so nice, and I mean like I've never seen this happen before. Me and my coworker would be out filming, and this woman comes like, "Hey, are you guys filming?" And we're like, "Oh no, she's going to run us off," because people around, some people don't like having cameras. They're like, "Yeah," and she's like, she's like she's like, if you want to get a good like shot of the sun hitting some glass windows just like that, there's one across the street, and we're like, "Huh?" Like she. Genuinely helped us, and this guy, like saw us film, like we were filming like the school, and he took us around, showed us all the cool classrooms. But people were just like so helpful there, and it was like a beautiful town that people don't know it as Bloody Harlan. Mm-hmm. And so the thing of Winston was this group of kids, like the original story for the film that would become Fallen Souls was a group of people who set out to like show the beauty of this town, and then like in the fictional town was like forever marked when this like, and like it was like telling this legend, this guy went completely crazy and murdered a bunch of people in the woods, and so they're trying to, revitalize Winston, and then this like scumbag filmmaker shows up and starts making like a slasher film based on the actual murders. and then like the actual ghost of the killer came into play, and then there was like copycat killers. It ended up it's going back to this crazy movie, and the actual people, the people taking on the identity of the killers is the in the final cut. But I think that's like one of the best film endings I've done, and it's like such a bleak because darkness wins, and like the legacy of this one bad man forever engulfs the entire town.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that's like a pretty real. I mean like you mentioned, like you can, like you mentioned, like places where these tragedies happen. That's all people can think of.
Absolutely. And that kind of brings us into the next point that I mentioned a little bit before, was location. We live in a pretty rural place.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'll travel as far as we can, but sometimes you just kind of gotta go with what you have.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to look, you gotta scout, and I say just get out and go. You might find something, some location, you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, this would be cool for the movie or the story or whatnot. Keep track of that location, and if you can write it into your story, then great.
Mm-hmm.
If not, then you could find some other places. But regardless of what location you choose, always be professional about it. Like if it's on somebody else's land, I always ask for permission.
Mm-hmm.
Mention them in the credits. Special thanks to. Don't give out the location, of course. Out of respect. But just sometimes you just have to just get out and look, and you'll find a lot of really cool places like that.
Oh yeah,
you'll find a lot of cool people too. So casting comes into play there as well.
Oh yeah, and actually to keep hammering on her, Marsha, if you can't tell, we kind of like the film.
Yeah.
The two creators are pretty cool people. I've heard, but
yeah.
But actually, a funny story. Like one of my favorite locations in our marshal, like the discovery, was a complete accident because this guy who worked here for like 12 or 30 years, Jim Webb. He's like the voice of the radio, and he owns this beautiful property, like Wildest Last Resort, and and so that's been like where we filmed a lot. And I would always ask him, man. He was somebody, it can be kind of hard to catch him, in the studio.
Yeah.
So I kept waiting. I kept looking back. Is that his vehicle? And I would go over there and ask him. And about the fourth or fifth time, I asked him. He's like, "I said yeah, didn't I?" He's like, "You can feel." He was kind of like. He was like, why do you keep asking? But anyhow, so there's like this real big, beautiful field, and I actually got video of you from like the first film that, with like the Copper Man and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, the one that I didn't know I was in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like this big, beautiful field with all these bizarre things, like these old trailers and stuff, and so that was actually what I had in mind for Whitney's death, to be like this big field, and I was thinking evil ritual murder, big field, and instead of going through Mars, we took a left, and we found the walking trail that's near there, and it's pretty close. I think if we'd walked like another 15 minutes, we would have reached the field. But I was like, this place looks way better.
Yeah.
Like, better than anything I had envisioned.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's another thing about creative planning is feel free to go with the flow. And, I say it's really the actors will always bring something to the film that you didn't even know you need. Right here, like he turned Bill into like one of my favorite characters, the person who, the character who was written as having no defining humanity becoming like one of the most human characters in the film. And by far like one of the best, best antagonist in a film I've made, and it's just something I always want to make people bring it their own, and I'm like I say it to like anyone, I'm like if you want to make your character have a potty mouth, make them have one, and everyone has their own styles, and it's just. I always do a thing, with that dialogue and stuff. I'm like, if you don't like the way it sounds, say it how you'd say it,
Yeah.
Because there's like so many Hollywood movies where people talk and you're just like, what people talk like that?
I'm gonna throw one under the bus here, really quick, and it's a movie that it's okay. It's a Steven Seagal film called Fire Down Below.
Oh God! Oh my! I know what you're talking.
And it's set in this area, right? Yeah. At some point, Steven Seagal comes across this couple of I don't know. Would you call them thugs?
I think. I think something.
Oh no!
Well, what did it say the error was?
It is unable to complete the file because the disk is full. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. While this is going, I'm going to go ahead and just export that to a flash drive. We'll keep going.
Alright.
This is some technical issues that you will also come across during filmmaking, so... But I'll just let you take the reins for a little bit.
Alright.
I'll be back.
Yeah, it's... There's a couple hard drives like we can use too for stuff. Okay. Yeah, actually, Fire Down Below, and oh man, this is all rumors because I don't remember when it was filmed here, but my dad does, and him and one of our friends who actually unfortunately just passed away a couple of days ago. Really wonderful human being, love the man, But they were having an argument because apparently Steven Seagal would have his food flown in by helicopter. He did not like the local food, and I think he was staying close to Lexington. I've actually that scene with the truck on the road and stuff. That's actually pretty close to here, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely been. Hey, there's that thing from that. Oh God. Okay, I take back everything about Fallen Souls. I would rather our town be known for bloody murders than as being from a Steven Seagal movie. But anyhow, yeah, Steven Seagal would have his food flown in through helicopter, and would not stay in the same hotel as a lot of the local people in the movie. And of course, that's all hearsay. That's my dad and his friend arguing. But yeah, that's my Steven Seagal suck story.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know if we do, but that'd be a good one to talk to for the podcast.
Oh, definitely.
And him, that guy was telling the story. I mean, that man was a legend. I'm really, truly honored to say that I know him, and I really hope he rests in peace. Because if there's anyone who deserved to rest in peace, it was that man. Yeah, and I got good old Steven Seagal. Do you know one of them cop shows? He actually ran into someone's house with a tank and killed a dog.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I'm not joking. If you Google it, there's a lot more details. But yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'm back. Let's just see how long this lasts.
If we keep having an issue, we can. Yeah, I can bring in one of my hard drives. You can set to record.
Oh my gosh! It's.
want me to get it? Because it's got like 500 gigs free.
It's not that. It's the computer.
Oh.
Well, I'm not gonna throw a whole lot of shade
Mm-hmm.
because like I think that would cause a bit of an issue, but just know that like whatever brand of computer this is, I'm never gonna own another one again. And in fact, I'm probably gonna shoot this one when I get another one. Bang 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 bang.
There's actually a video. I got a dad shooting one of his old laptops.
Mm-hmm.
That was that. And I will say this. LEOG being a literal lifesaver, so, and this has nothing to do, I guess kind of, because I almost lost some like film like script ideas and stuff. I had to jot it down, but one day my phone just the screen turned black. I mean, like it would illuminate.
Oh yeah.
But it just died, and it was like, and I was like, what? Is my phone dead? And then I could make you like ring on the like Android device manager. And I was able, because me being the security guru, I had, I didn't have a passcode on it, which actually ended up saving me because I was able to unlock it and, connect it and get all my files out. And I'll tell you, whenever I went and, went and visited the holler, I took pride in destroying that phone. I mean, that was like the most therapeutic thing I have felt in a long time. And yeah, anyhow, I looked it up and I'm like, what could be causing this? And yeah, actually, sometimes it'll just do that.
Well, I guess we could just kind of go with the audio on this for now, since
okay,
sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
I hate you. I just want you to know that. And I don't wish any good things happen to you.
There's actually like an old phone, like one from like 2 or 3 years ago. They don't sell them anymore. You can't buy parts for them, and I mean, literally cannot buy parts. I've looked because they would just overheat and die.
Oh wow!
And I still got. I mean, it looks used. I mean, still looks like it works. So, anyways, that's going to be a prop in the new movie. Like I found out like about a month ago, and I'm like, this needs to get busted.
Yeah, this thing's not doing. Anyway, Steven Seagal story. Research is also important into your film. And he comes across these two like thugs or whatever, and well, they actually come across him. They're snooping in his pot patch. His pot patch. Everybody knows what I mean whenever I say pot patch, or at least everybody I guess around here does, and they go up to him and they're like, "What are you doing in our marijuana field?" And I'm like, who the fuck? No one says that. Research, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean,
it's very important.
I go out of my way to get it, and this is a crazy thing of me wasting way too much for too little in a movie. One of my biggest pet peeves in a movie is when you see drugs and they're obviously fake.
Yeah.
They're like they're like Tylenol and stuff. I'm not. There's actually this one drama I watched. I'm like, are you kidding me? So, anyways, I bought and destroyed after using some real replica Oxycontins that were like, what were they made out of?
Resin.
Yeah, resin. Yeah, for some reason, I was going to say ricin because I've been watching too much Breaking Bad.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Surprise. But
we got some fake Oxycontin made out of ricin.
Yeah. That would.
You want to try some of it? We got you.
But anyhow, so I used these, filmed scenes with them, and then destroyed them. And you don't. I mean, you see the shape of them. You see them like in someone's hand, without spoiling anything. But yeah, no, they just don't. You can't clearly see the writing. But I was like, it don't matter. Like if I wanted to get a shot of that, like I want people to be like, yeah, that could actually look kind of real instead of like marijuana patch. Like trust me, I've lived around a lot of stoners.
Mm-hmm.
The only time you will hear them say marijuana is like sarcastically.
Yeah.
You know.
So yeah, there's research, there's location.
Mm-hmm. And
you talked about me at one point. I'm gonna talk about you. Have a good relationship with your director. Like, Oakley's very phenomenal, knows what he wants, but is also very conscious and aware of the fact that the people that he's working with have their own things that they could bring to the table. Not just the actors and the actresses and all that stuff, but the people that are running the camera. Or we've had people make stuff for us in the past too.
mm-hmm.
And having that kind of relationship with your director where you guys are cool with each other, you can click, and you can both team up and just make something absolutely kick-ass is great. Like, if you... I've worked with a few of them. I'm not going to mention any names. But you can have some pretty shitty relationships, and that does affect the outcome of your film. So, another good tip.
Yeah, I mean, that's something, because I want everyone to have a good time, and that's one thing. Like I tell people, like I like to kind of talk about, because I am on the spectrum, and I tell people like it's not like don't believe TV shows. I'm not no hyper genius. I'm not this otherworldly alien. It's just sometimes I do not get social cues, and I mean, like I tell people, like you have to be blunt with me. I'm not going to be upset. That's like I'm telling you, please be blunt. Like right now, I'm worried that I'm talking too much, and it's something that I always think. It always happens. It's not any person, any situation. It's kind of like I go out of my way to try to combat, like some of the things like I used to be real bad for. And, so I talk too much. Anyhow, like I tell people, I'm like, if I ask you to do anything you don't want to do, just tell me.
Mm-hmm.
And, if I ever do anything, because like I do have this real bad, like I'd almost call it a phobia, like unintentionally making people uncomfortable. Like to the point that I'm that guy who thinks about stuff years ago, like that happened years ago, and I was like, why did I do that? And I want to make sure everyone has something comfortable, everyone brings something to the table, and I want it to be something like somebody can look back at this role, like the role years from now, back, hey, that's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Let's see. I'm thinking. I think another, and then also like, feel free to talk, because I say I kind of am more like I hope I haven't I've been.
Oh no, you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine.
Yeah. I just want to make sure it's like I really don't want to be like the guy who like dominates the entire conversation.
You're totally fine.
I would say to like also let actors like change up the entire scene. As I won't say who, because his it hasn't come out yet, but it's like somebody I've wanted to have in a movie for a while, and as fate would have it, the person playing this character is very cruel and talks angry father, dropped out last minute, and that guy just so happened to be there. And he's like, I'll do it. And we're like, I'm like, yes! Because I like, he actually used to babysit me and stuff when I was a kid. And, he's just like, he's somebody you definitely got to meet. Wonderful person, go out of his way to help you. But anyways, he got to be there, and so I'm like describing the scene to him, and I'm like, okay, your kid's going to come home, you're going to have an argument, and you're kicking them out. You're just like set up for the, not to spoil anything. I mean that's like in the trailer, like with them, like they get kicked out near the beginning of the movie, and I'm like, so okay, so like you're all going to have words with each other, and then they're going to walk into the house, and you're going to come in after them, and then tell them to leave. And he's like, I won't let them in the house. If I'm kicking them out, they're gone. They ain't getting past the door. And so I was like, okay, we'll just cut the scene in half. And it worked so well. Like I mean, he's a pretty good actor.
He really is. He really is. All work and no play makes Jack a very dull boy. Have fun while you're on location.
Oh yeah,
that's sometimes how you get some of the best, somewhat, would you call it candid? Candid footage of all time that is better than anything, any shot you could have already planned out. We've had, gosh, what?
I'll tell you, going through all the footage of that remaster, you won't believe how much behind the scenes stuff I got.
Yeah,
like it's like 500 or 600 gigabytes.
Oh my god!
Like all the files for her Marsha, the project file that includes everything is lines up right at 256 gigabytes, and so all the other stuff. And granted, that means B-roll, a bunch of other stuff. It's like 700 stuff total. So if you ever want like a copy of everything her Marsha related, I basically would just get it into like a terabyte drive just to be safe. That's actually what I bought just to do the remastering.
Right on. And you don't even have to film some of it. Like whenever you're uploading footage or whatever, you're just kind of waiting for something to render. One thing we'll do is we'll get on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to drop some names. Saucer Loss. Red Dead Redemption. I'll find it. We'll link it in the description. They're not asking us to talk about them at all.
No, they're just... He's actually... You say he lives in Hazard.
Yeah. It was like a county over. We didn't know that.
Yeah.
And they've provided so much entertainment. Just us messing around, then, that's an example. What is it? Ketamine Yoda?
Yeah.
Which is as stupid as it sounds.
Yeah, it's something, to be honest, it's something to this day I don't know the exact origin of. It's just
no.
It's just something so bizarre. And then there's a video of one faithful at Taco Bell order.
Right. Oh my god.
But anyways, it's like Joshua Graham from New Vegas, and he's like this, he's like this real hardened military guy who's very religious, but is also kind of murdery. He's battling his own demons, and so they got him calling religious hotlines, and he's like, and they're like, "What do you want to pray about?" Like, I want to have my revenge. And then there's one, he's like, I pray to God that someone will learn from my mistakes. And the guy actually starts praying, and they start playing his combat noises in the background. Yeah, it's
somebody's gonna sound clip that now.
It's like all of that, and the guy does not stop.
No.
But anyways, the Grudy toss him, and he's like, "God protect me." And so we were at Taco Bell, and right as soon as he finished his order, I just screamed that at the top of my lungs, and then we just drove up, paid for it, like nothing was out of the ordinary. Yeah. But you can't hardly see where it started, but you can see everyone's figures and stuff, and some light on on their face, but you hear everyone slowly die laughing. And that's the stuff you will always treasure from a film. I mean, that 1 whole hour recording session where it's just us cutting up,
Yeah.
stuff like in between.
What else have we done? There was the first scene that we shot with my sister.
Mm-hmm.
When I killed her on top of Pine Mountain.
As we do.
So, I'm covered in blood. We wanted the fight to be real, and my shirt's ripped all to shreds. I'm covered in blood. She's covered in blood. Oakley's covered in blood. And we go to McDonald's. As we were. We didn't change. We didn't wash anything off. Just go straight to McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
And Whitney's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Like, these people are going to freak out on us. If they're going to think we, did something horrible. And, we welcome to McDonald's. I'm going to take your order. Yeah, I'll have, can I get the quarter pounder with a large fry, large Dr. Pepper, and then you order just as unabashedly as possible. And there's my sister just looking around, and we're like, this ain't nothing new for us.
I also, whenever I call that back there footage, I'll give you the full res original photos of them. I think my favorite one's her just looking, looking right at the camera, and you can just see the golden arch in the back. but anyways, and sometimes they get a bit crowded. They're like, yeah, could you pull over to the drive, to there, and we'll bring your food out. Yeah. And
that happened that day too, right?
Yeah. Because we were just sitting there, and you're just like, what if they call the cops? Like, shut up.
Yeah. Yeah, we messed with her that time. Oh man, what if they're calling the cops right now?
Yeah.
She started freaking out, but I mean, you gotta have fun like that.
Yeah.
You have to.
I mean, that's like the stuff that that's what makes me reflect on this movie. Is that all of that.
There was another time we shot with Jake, and we wrapped shooting for that day, and I was bloody. This was the day you got Red Dead 2.
Yeah.
We go to Walmart as we were for him to get Red Dead 2, and I've got blood all over the side of my face, my shirt soaked in blood, and there was one guy. I don't know what his name is, but if he watches this, dude, your mullet is the mullet of a god, by the way.
Oh yeah.
And you were seriously the only person in the entire time that we have been doing this to ever ask, is that real? You're the only one. So, yeah. Major props for you being a concerned citizen. And that's not me being sarcastic or anything either. You were seriously the only one that's asked.
And I got it because it came out pretty close to my dad's birthday, which was 4 days before Halloween. Mm-hmm. So I got it a week and a half later. So this was after Halloween. There was no reason for us to be bloody. Yeah, none at all.
No. Well, we just shot. So
yeah,
we shot a movie. So there's that. But okay, yeah, I get what you're saying now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that that's actually I'm trying to invest right now a pretty good camcorder because, and I mean I'd love to just get some of the cast and just go out and do stuff.
Yeah. Ooh, do a Pantera home video style. That might be one thing that we'll do for the channel. Mm-hmm. It's a home video every year.
And I know I haven't nothing wanting to do a Twitch, where we get get some of the cast on watch the movie. Mm-hmm. Kind of like a real time commentary.
That'd be funny. You're making me taking a trip down memory lane and some of the funny stuff. What did we do with the The gas station.
Oh.
When we got a shot at the gas station. Like, there was something funny that happened.
Are you talking about like the speedway?
Yeah.
Like a cop car like pulled in.
Yeah. We're just getting shots at the gas station. Keep in mind, this is kind of shady. We're in a car.
Uh-huh.
We're in my car. Sitting in parked in a place where it's not actually a parking space. There's Oakley in the camera, and a cop pulls up, and we're like, oh God. We've never had the no, we did.
Yeah.
We had the cops call on us one time.
Uh-huh.
And that's a story I want to tell so bad. But we got to get Jake here for that.
Yeah. No, we need him. We need him to talk about making this like Walking Dead fan film, man.
Yeah.
It's something I love, like, especially like that whole thing was shot in like a couple weeks, which was like unheard of. And I will tell this story because I say something like another rule about filmmaking, which I'll tell too many ones about making your own film that I always stick to. Is one is like I have never told anybody in the cast to do something that I myself would not get down and do, and I'm a man of my word. And so for like the film, I'm like somebody. We didn't have time to like get all these zombies, but I was like being chased by. You can only hear them. I'm like chased by zombies, and I like to poke fun of myself. I poke fun of my lungs. I have an asthma attack, and I'm like, oh no, I'm done. And so I just, so. And so
I'll be using the audio from that anyway.
Oh, okay. So so after I karate chop the mic, I shoot myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so to get the shot of like the blood, there's like this blood cloud that comes out of my mouth and it's like pouring everywhere. One of my favorite blood effects, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely think like we're using that in a future movie in a much better way than I did, because at the time I still had the stage blood from her Marsha, which tastes like dish soap smells.
Yeah.
And so to get the effect, I chugged a bunch of it in my mouth, and I'm somebody, I don't smoke or anything. I took a hit off like a vape to blow the smoke out, and kind of combined it both so it'd be like this. And there's one where it was like this blood bubble come out that I thought was kind of cool. I loved it so much that I actually used that like in the outtake in the credits. But yeah, no, it's by far one of the most disgusting and awful stunts I've ever done, and I loved every minute of it.
Yeah.
And I think one of the most important things about making a film is it's really going to help you, in ways you don't understand, ways you really can't even conceive. Because making her Marsha, I'm talking about right now, it's like one of the best things that it is, but it was made during some of the more bleak times in my life.
Yeah, same.
Like I was suffering like a real bad depression spell. Like Elihu, Whitney really helped me out, getting to hang out with them every day. Getting to do all this stuff helped me out. Like all the stuff with Adam, who, spoiler alert, is going to be on the podcast very soon. We're actually, as soon as this wraps, we'll probably go in there and message him. Hopefully he'll answer. I mean, he's pretty good at that.
Yeah.
But anyhow, right before that, a relative of mine actually shot somebody. As I was going to film.
Yep.
And so, that happened. But anyway, so I get there, and the guy who was actually originally going to play the boyfriend just wasn't feeling it. And again, I'm somebody. I'm not going to make anyone do anything they don't want to do. He wasn't feeling it, and so I was like, all right. And so I was like working out the stuff, like immediately having to like rework like 20 pages of script. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, maybe she's just in isolation the whole time, like. Her fear of Bill has caused her to drive her away, and then Adam's like, I'll do it. And that's the story how we got Adam. Mm-hmm. Easily one of the best parts of that entire movie.
Absolutely.
Like, but yeah, so it's like, it helps me think back on these really dark times, and even like looking at all this stuff, like I'm like, oh my God, that did happen while we were making the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like all this stuff I had to went through, and I mean, Elihu with Whitney and the other main star, her Marsha Brittany. I actually filmed with them like 2 days like after my grandpa died. Like I came straight from the funeral to this very building to film, and it was because I was just processing a lot, and I knew like at the time that I wouldn't be at 100%, but it was something I was like, I know one way or another I'm going to be moping, I'm going to be distraught. My grandpa was somebody I looked up to my entire life, and all that stuff. That man was a hero to me, and I'm like, I was just in shock. I couldn't believe he was gone. Before we went to the funeral, we went to the house, and I expected to see him on the couch. But anyhow, I was like, there's no place I would rather be than filming with these guys. Because that's like the best, it's like the best thing for me to do. That's when I really feel my most me. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, this film would change. Will change you. Some of the funnier bloopers.
Man.
Yeah, so some of the genuine dialogue you and Brittany have are like some of the highlights. I don't know if we'll tell that, but he knows exactly what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, it'll change you. I mean, it's like filming. Like that's what I love the most. Like how it helps people, and it's something. It's something like I'll be honest. Like even filming Invisible Scars, December was a pretty rough month. January was okay. February, and I think it was it March? It was one of them months like when we wouldn't film. No, it couldn't have been March because you just come back.
Yeah.
It was June or July. I don't know. COVID times, it might as well have been last week for all I know. But anyhow, so I'll admit I was drained. Like there was just like a lot of, and it was like going out and doing the stuff, and just really hard. And then like Elihu and I went and met up with Casey in Lexington and had like an absolute blast, and it was just like relighting that spark,
Mm.
We got to pet little puppers too.
Yeah,
always a big plus.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a dog. I actually watched Jack. He was a puggle, and if I can find this clip, I'll show it. Like he was somebody. He was a dog that missed me so much. Whenever Dad would take me back up to here, and I mean that car would be going at 40, 45 miles an hour, and Jack would be like running right beside that car, barking, trying to get in.
Oh,
because he didn't want me to leave.
Oh,
yeah. I love. I honestly think I have like sibling bonds with dogs, and I mean that sounds really weird, but I mean it's like stuff like I have videos where I just kind of like I used to have like this like broken like spray bottle, like it would literally just like spray just like a tiny bit, and so I'd be like be patting back surprise, and then just like spray that, and then like pet him. My favorite thing was like to bonk him on the nose, and and then just get him so hyped up, like he would just start barking, like jumping on. And some of my more spiteful things I have on video is like Dad would be like, get off his lap, and you can actually watch me in the video. Once Dad turns back around, you can just see me get him jump out. Dad, like, I don't know why he won't listen to me. I'm just like,
Oh man.
Speaking of, like where you talking about Brittany and all that.
Yeah.
Well, Brittany and Whitney. Some of my favorite moments with both of them was like Whitney, who is my sister. Her first experience with stage blood. That was one of the bloopers.
Yeah.
That you were talking about. Stage blood's cold.
Oh yeah.
Stage blood is like really cold. And like it doesn't matter if it's like 80 degrees outside.
Mm-hmm.
Once it hits you, you're still like you just go into an immediate shock and your brain's like sitting there trying to process it. We told her it's gonna be cold. She didn't really think it was gonna be as cold as it was. Ooh, that's cold! Old Sparrow kind of said the same thing whenever you squirted in with it.
Yeah, I would say like one of Invisible Scar's pivotal scenes, and you can imagine because it's a horror movie. There's a lot of horrified screaming. Their genuine horrified screaming isn't them acting. It's me not giving them a heads because like they'd already got like some of like on their stomach, and so like, I didn't give them a heads up. I just like squirted it like on their head, and they made the noises you hear in the final cut of the movie.
It's shocking.
Yeah, but I was with that favorite boy Bridge. You're just like hosing her down there. And you're like, I got another bottle. You want that other? And like without missing, baby's like, yes,
yes.
Like,
and then Brittany, aside from that, the conversation, because one of the things that we wanted to do between Bill and Nicole was we wanted them to seem like a couple. So Brittany and I would like talk amongst ourselves and stuff all the time. And we got to the point where we would share each other's really dark humor with each other. And I'm not going to say what it was, but that was one of them. And then there was the other one whenever, I'm not going to spoil it either, like the final scene with Brittany when I run over to her and she's laying on the ground. And I slip and my knee goes right into her spine, and it was the most painful thing that I've endured during that entire movie. And I thought I hit a rock with my knee. That was not a rock, that was Brittany's spine. But we did, man. We had so much fun. A lot of really fun moments and stuff like that. And, moments and things like that really do help you in so many ways. And then at the end of the project, you've got something you can look back on and feel an unbelievable sense of pride. Like, we made this. Mm-hmm. This is ours. And what the memories that you made while you're doing that just takes on a whole new meaning.
Oh yeah, just like that whole movie. I hope that we get to make a movie that's like as enjoyable to make as that one. That's like a pretty high bar.
Yeah, it definitely is.
There's some there's also a bunch of because even the prop guns we use in the movie, and there is some which I would say the remaster has a bit better muzzle flashes and stuff, but they also shoot CO2 I buy CO2 BB guns with removable magazines, and then I will break the magazine or take the spring out to make sure we can't actually shoot a BB gun. I'm the only person crazy enough to buy. And they can be pretty pricey.
Yeah.
I think the Walther Bill uses was like $75.
I think so.
But yeah, but anyway, it shoots pretty cold air, and I've got bloopers of us all just shooting ourselves in the shooting each other in the belly button with that.
Yep.
That's just like the stuff people do. I'm sick. And especially all the prop knives. I can't tell you how many videos I got of people just like.
ultimately the big takeaway is enjoy it. Like, yeah, we could talk about like the process of making a film and, you know, planning and whatnot, but what you're going to remember the most is the memories that you made while you went into doing all this. And it's so much fun. That's what you're going to live with. That's what I want y'all to look forward to the most, is just the shit you're going to get into while you're making it.
Yeah, and it's something, because, you know, for me, because like I read like all these heroes of mine, and you're just like, they were really, really mean to their actors, you know.
Yeah.
Like I'm blanking out on a name, like that one actress, like Alfred Hitchcock, actually through Bird and stuff.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and then there's like another, just like never wanted to do another thing with him again, and I'm like, I want everyone to be fun, because I mean, you know, right now, like, we're still trying to schedule going back to Lexington to do more shoots, and it's because we have, you know, like, we have fun. And, you know, and your cast will want to deal with you if you're not a complete psychopath. And I mean, it's weird, because, I mean, I've always been that weird kid, and then I, like, look at people and I'm like, huh. You know, I'm like, on hope. And, yeah, it's also just meeting, you know, again, people with, like, you know, like I took Sparrow, like I was telling, you know, like I was telling, like, my favorite movie, Death, is the one where you accidentally shoot me in the face, and I'm like, I'm like, if I could pick out one way to die in real life, that would be it. Just
pow.
Yeah. like that's it. You know, I hope it's like, you know, my dream thing would be at the end of the movie where I could be a crowd of people and I'm just reading this, you know, me as an old man just reading this life story, and I was like, bam. It just like abruptly cuts to credits.
Get shot by a bystander that didn't really mean to shoot you, but it happened anyway. I wonder what happened to that guy.
It's like there's always I feel there's always the story of the movie, and then there's the story of what went into making the movie.
Mm-hmm. And that's like what you do to get to that point is important. But where we spent the bulk of the podcast or this episode talking about the memories that we had, the stuff that we got into, that's what you're gonna be stuck with. And like, I would love to have every bit of that stuff. Well, we do pretty much have every bit of it on film.
Yeah, and like it leads to some of the really, I'd say the start of the new, like what ended up being her Marcia was the record store scene. That was like a week before Brittany was even cast, and you know, one of the guys was like my boss, and you know, he's someone he loved watching. He loved watching my slasher. He's like such an OG Oakley fan. He's got one of my films that was like transcoded on the VHS.
Wow.
There's only 5 of these in existence. And me being the complete idiot sold my copy, you know. So I don't even have this. But anyways, you know, he likes to just around, you know. Each time I'd be like, when you gonna kill me, Oakley? When you gonna kill me, Oakley? When you gonna kill me, Oakley? And we almost did a death for him in Fallen Souls, but we just ran out of time. And then when it came, like right when you and I had just talked and we're like revitalizing it, he just sarcastic, when you gonna kill me? And I'm like, are you free? Are you free like a couple weeks? Like, I guess so. I'm like, all right, let's do it. You know, and it's just like, and it was just something to really hit it, because we were just going with this really grounded, you know, well, everything I described about Legion of the Bear, this really grounded dark horror film, and just do something like more absurdity, like, you know, 2 people arguing over music, which is based on a real conversation.
Yes.
In which a friend of mine mistook Tools for Deftones. You know, he was going like, yeah, man, Tools sucks. God, I hate that. You know, he's like, and you know, he just went on like, man, what do you hate? He's like, I can't stand that White Pony album. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, that one song from that Dragon Ball movie, that change. I'm like, that's Deftones. And he's like, anyhow. So we just went on that, and of course turned it up to an 11.
Yeah.
And they're like, what could be even funnier? And about what if somebody else just came in with a gun?
Yeah.
And like the whole reason they start shooting at each other is just differing musical opinions, and then like one just lied about his name.
Yeah. That's what happened at the Record Store Massacre.
And like Tristan is like 2 or 3 years younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like early 20s, and like he says, "I'm like you were at my daughter's wedding."
Yeah.
Just like,
excuse me. I actually had somebody quote that scene to me today.
See?
Nah, I'm dead serious. They looked at me because we were talking about like going ham on somebody, and we just started laughing. He looks at me and goes, "You're 9 Inch Nails." I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, it's it, and that line's completely ad-libbed.
It is,
and it's in the blooper reel too, because like the whole thing, is he couldn't understand, and the original thing in the like in the script was he got the other band, like a Perfect Circle, has the same vocalist from Tool. The joke was like he would get it mixed up, and then like, and then Mike is like, no, say that's 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah, just say it's 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah. So he's like, oh man, so that's.
And that got a response from everybody. Everybody in the store laughed.
Yeah, and like everybody at the screening laughed. Like that's been like the fun, like one of the most quoted lines, and it was just completely ad-libbed. And it's just like knocking a film, taking a scene and just knocking it up to 11.
And what made it even better was we didn't do this on a day when the store was closed.
Yeah.
We did this during business hours.
Mm-hmm.
So there we were, cameras, guns, blood, as customers are coming in.
And then there was like this one elderly woman just documenting Appalachia, like her and her daughter just walk in. She's like, "What are you doing?" And we're just sitting there talking. Actors play with the product. And I think my favorite was Jaden, who actually plays some music for my movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I got this on tape. I think it is in the blooper reel.
Yeah, where we all just come out on them.
Yeah, like because like we were all up there messing with guns, and then like. And walking like, oh, it's Jaden, and they just like all come out of the corner like revolvers, pistols, like assault rifle aimed at him.
He doesn't even flinch either. He just keeps coming in with his little double quick dinner bucket.
Yeah, he's just used to it. He's like, okay,
it's like, hey guys,
this is what happens now.
Oh man, that was so much fun.
And it's like that whole scene that was just. The whole shootout was improv on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Just all of that. And that's like one of the most memorable sequences. Like the whole, unless we wrote like a script and it somehow got erased, I don't think there's any script for the scene with you and Andrew either.
No, every bit of that was ad-lib too.
Yeah, so that's another one of the most. It's personally one of my favorite transitions. It's just like, Brittany's going to therapy, and and like Dustin, who is, I swear to God, I would give anything for Dustin to, if I could hear his voice as my main or head thing, I would. That would be me at like 110% max high power. But yeah, anyhow, it's just like him. He's like, all right, talk to me about what you wish at your own leisure. And then I'm like, what if a stark contrast between Nicole and Bill is like Bill actually abducts random people to just vent to them. That's his form of therapy. He doesn't seek the therapist. He just takes random people off the street and vents to them. And like the whole popcorn thing was ad-libbed.
That was ad-libbed.
I don't even remember why we had popcorn up there, to be honest.
I don't either, really. I think like we made it just because it's like, hey, there's popcorn.
Yeah.
You guys want snacks? Kind of thing. So we had it, and then we had, what was it, two?
Mm-hmm.
Like two pipe wrenches that we broke both of them.
Yeah, the first one broke on the first. Well, it cracked on the first hit.
Yeah.
And that I won't lie, that camera, I was like, oh man, I should have got more. I should have bought, because I was like, we got this, and then oh.
Did you imagine if we did that take like 15 times? Andrew, I'm sorry I hit you in the head 15 times with this prop pistol.
Oh god, that would. But we did it like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Like it's all. One time it landed on his arm.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he actually was tied up like to a chair with a belt.
Yep. Yeah. What else did we do multiple times that we were just like, oh, that's another Jake story.
Mm-hmm.
It's another Jake story.
Yeah,
we'll save that.
Okay, we'll message Adam, and then I'll also message Jake at the same time.
Yeah. Absolutely. But I do think that'll do it for this episode. We gave you quite a bit, you know. Definitely come up with your story. Documentary is completely different. Your story's going to find itself. What we found anyway.
Yeah.
Come up with your story. Get your themes, locations, cast people that you know are going to be good for the role, and enjoy it. Have fun. Play. Don't work. Play.
And maybe there'll be another episode talking about like going into documentaries.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's another episode. Maybe we'll get someone like I've interviewed or something like that. We'll figure something out.
Yeah, we got this. And
does it sound like we're getting ready to wrap up, or?
I believe so. I ain't got anything else to add.
Since the mics were giving us trouble, the whole reason I didn't show you guys this sooner is I was worried about the noise the desk would make. But oh man, you can't even see. You can barely. Yeah. No, just maybe look at some. Yeah. So these are like some of the art I've made. Got a whole bunch of these just laying around. I've got a killer Hermarsha one that I would have shown, but believe it or not, someone actually bought that 2 days ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Like the order of the bear print, someone bought it, so now I've got to go make another 8x10.
Right on. So there's that. Heck yeah. But I believe that we'll do it for this episode. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram, both of which are linked in the description. We're still kind of in the process of like building those, but we also do work full-time jobs as well.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. We'll figure out. Also, if anyone knows how to record from like on 2 mics with 1 computer, please hit us up, please.
Yes.
We'll figure something out. Maybe we can even. Well, I mean, both of these have XLR point. Well, we could have just used the Zoom. Coming next episode.
Yeah,
Zoom.
coming next episode, Zoom.
Oh man, it would have even been like a mini reunion to the Zoom that recorded parts of Hermarsha with the mic, but
yeah,
that's that crossover's happening later.
Yeah. Well, technically, we'll kind of play it by ear. Tentatively, we're going to shoot for having the next episode uploaded not next week, but the week after. If it's uploaded next week, it's a happy surprise. It all just depends if old Eli can get his shit together.
That's right. It's just something working. You know, we just doing this for fun.
Yeah.
Also, we got to kind of schedule. You know, getting our first guest.
Yeah. Working
out all that, but you know, something what the future will hold.
That's the fun of it. But I believe this is the League of Exceptionally Ordinary Gentlemen signing out. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. You take what we said, you'll make something awesome for yourself. And that you also are also doing great too. But that'll do it for us. See you later.
See you later.